Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm excited about this topic today. I know it's a popular one with, what's going on these days with gaining the quarantine 15 is what I've been hearing. But I wanted to jump into this because it's something that I figured would be helpful for a lot of people. Short and sweet and to the point. Without further ado, we're gonna jump right in. So the topic that I decided to be talking about today are 5 easy ways to lose weight and reduce inflammation. And unfortunately, these two are very common for a lot of people, is to be overweight and to also be pretty inflamed in your gut and just all over your body. It seems to be a common issue these days. So the 5 easy ways I wanted to explain to you guys, and right now I'll just give you kind of the overview. Number 1 is a sugar detox. Number 2 is hydrating. Number 3 is exercise. Number 4 is reducing inflammatory foods from your diet. And number 5 is reducing stress. So I'm just going to now dive into each of them and give you some quick tips on why I chose these. Number 1, sugar detox. We don't realize how inflamed our bodies can get and how addictive sugar can be. And if I were just to give you statistics, you would be shocked on how much sugar we consume every single year. It's pounds and pounds of sugar, and it's really sad because this is not something that is actually necessary in our diet. Yes, there's natural sugars and things like fruit, but as far as actually needing sugar as part of our diet, that is not even a thing. So I have done sugar detox probably since I had my second child, which is back in 2014 is when I started doing it. And I love to do a sugar detox at least once a year, every year. I feel like this really just trains my body to almost like have this foundation again of not relying on sugar. I love sugar and I love treats and I love any special thing that does have sugar in it, but it is so addictive. So it's really good to teach your body and to go through like a detox once a year. And it doesn't have to be, I love doing the 21-day sugar detox. That's the one that I first did, and I've stuck with it because I've done it before, and it's just, I don't know, I know what foods to eat, and it's pretty simple whenever I've done it to kind of jump into it. Also, I do have a blog post on how to survive a sugar detox, so I will put the link below for you so you can check that out. I do have before and after pictures of when I've done it, and it was super, super helpful for me. This is something that will definitely help you lose weight. We don't realize how addicted we are to sugar until we do something like this. So that's something that I definitely highly recommend. Hydrating. So hydration is absolutely essential for our body to function on a day-to-day basis. And unfortunately, a lot of us these days tend to be very dehydrated because of, consuming too much caffeine and just in general not, just not keeping track and not being consistent with how much water we're drinking. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but your body is made up of at least 60 to 70% water. So if your body naturally is made up of water and you're lacking in just the constant, depending on your exercise level, depending on just what you're doing in general, if you are not consuming enough water, your body and your cells and just your quality of life is not going to be the best. You're going to feel the negative effects of dehydration. So having enough water consumption, just that alone can make a huge difference in weight loss and just that feeling of inflammation. Your body tends to go on survival mode when it's lacking the necessary nutrients that are needed, and water alone is absolutely, it's like up there on the list of vital nutrients that you need in your body. So that would be number 2. Number 3 is exercise. I know that is probably common sense, but our, just the way that we live today is very sedentary. Most people tend to sit for hours and hours a day, and now that a lot of people are working from home, it tends to be more of a norm. And if you are not sweating and just allowing your body to, that's also a way of detoxifying, is through sweat. If you're doing that on a day-to-day basis, that is a great opportunity for your body to flush out toxins. And again, that kind of goes back to inflammation. If you just have toxins that are running through your body and you're fueling off of that all day long, then you're naturally going to, reap the consequences of that. So, something simple. It doesn't have to be these strenuous things that you're doing. You don't need to be, part of a CrossFit gym or doing anything like that. It's just more so of just walking, going outside, being in the sun, lifting things, doing stuff in the garden. And it doesn't have to be exercise. It can be things that you need to get done, but as a result, you are sweating and you are increasing that heart rate. But just the mobility of your body, all kinds of things. There's so many positive effects of just exercise alone. And there's just, again, the different things you can be doing that can really help you to, get the blood flowing in your body. And over time, this can also help with weight loss and reducing that inflammation in your body. Reducing inflammatory foods, we don't understand these days what causes our bodies to have inflammation. And if you're unaware, you can actually have inflammatory symptoms days after you consume something. So that's something that I never realized, but it doesn't have to be in that very moment that you realize, oh, this food probably doesn't settle well with me. There could be days later that you're having headaches and you're having just these adverse reactions that you're not used to, and it can be from a certain food that you ate that is causing inflammation. So there are a lot of inflammatory foods, and everyone is not the same in terms of what causes that inflammation in your body, depending on your gut health and whether or not you have an autoimmune disease, and just there's so many different factors that you need to consider. But most common inflammatory foods these days tend to be corn, soy, dairy, gluten, grains, nuts and seeds, eggs, alcohol, caffeine. Those are like the top ones, I would say. But again, there are so many other factors that can contribute to inflammation, but food alone is a huge, huge way where you can reduce that inflammation in your body and start slowly healing. And when you're reducing that inflammation naturally, so there's ways that you can also, find out which inflammatory foods are in your diet. There's a food sensitivity test that you can do. It's like a blood test where it can show inflammatory markers, and that is a route you can go. But you also can do like a autoimmune protocol, which is just a way to reduce those inflammatory foods for a certain amount of time, and then there is a process, like a reintroduction, to see how your body reacts to those certain foods. So there are options, and I'll put links for those below as well, where you can consider that. But that can really make a huge difference in, your overall, just the way you feel. It's amazing how food can really affect so many different factors in our life, and can cause a lot of just inflammation in our body that we just wouldn't know until we actually remove it from our diet. The last thing would be reducing stress. And I know this is something that is very difficult to do, especially this day and age, and with so much going on, especially right now. And so reducing stress is huge, huge, huge. I probably should have put this at the top, but I know it's really difficult, especially this year in 2020 with everything that's been going on. It's been very difficult to, you know, there's so many new things that keep happening and changing. But as far as physiologically, the way that our bodies respond to chronic stress is it's just unhealthy long term. We're constantly getting this adrenaline rush, and our body thinks it's in this fight or flight survival mode. And if that's 24/7 and your adrenals are just like shooting through the roof, like all the hormones and everything out, you're going to be depleted of a lot of nutrients and minerals and just essential, essential nutrients that you need on a daily basis. So I would definitely recommend finding things that can really relax you. Maybe having a bedtime routine, just like what our kids will have. Doing it for yourself. That's something that's really changed my life. I've done just even like a skincare routine at night, and that alone has been really, really relaxing for me that I look forward to. There's also incorporating essential oils and having that in the air and putting that, even, you know, certain ones that you can put on your skin, like lavender, I'll put that on. Frankincense is a really nice one. But having just options where you know these things can just relax you, and exercise is also a way to reduce that. Going on a walk, breathing in fresh air. We don't realize, being in the sun and getting natural light can make a huge difference with how we are feeling in general. So I would highly recommend doing things like that. There's also adaptogenic herbs, and those are amazing because those actually help you. They help your adrenals. They can really reduce that stress in your body, and they just aid in that reduction of all those hormones that are just out of whack. So a great way to take that. Obviously check with a doctor, see if that's okay, but having adaptogenic herbs, and I love the brand Gaia. I've used it before. I've actually done an adrenal support. That was amazing for me, and I could totally feel the difference of when I was taking them and how I was actually reacting and handling stress. So that is huge. One other tip that is really helpful is diaphragmatic breathing. That is so simple but so effective, and I will put a link for that too on what that looks like. And it's basically like belly breathing through your nose, and there's a lot of stress reduction that can come from that. In yoga, incorporating meditation. I love to just be in my word in the morning and pray and meditate on God's word to just keep me focused on what's important in my life. So that would be something that can make a really big impact in your overall stress levels. So hope these tips were helpful for you. Please ask me any questions that you have. I'd be more than happy to help. And I might go more in depth with these depending on feedback, but hope you guys find some answers in this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.